Oh my God, really? What happened?
I have no idea. Apparently, the police were I went outside, and so one of the police officers came up to me and was like, "Yeah, there's have you seen anything weird or anything like that?" So it sounds like it was arson, but which I mean, it's a vacant house, so I would assume it was arson.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, here we are. Sorry, I'm just a tad late. Am I, or am I right on time here?
I think you're 2 minutes early, it looks like.
Good. Well, looks like you guys are early too, so we can all say hello and see how everything's going. Fabian, I got a feeling after this term we'll be pretty tight. I see you a couple times every day now. But it's good to see everybody again. Thanks. We'll hold off from starting all our meeting our meeting agenda today until some more people can join us. But yeah, I was wondering if you folks have had a chance to see what I sent out quite early this morning. I woke up with some real inspiration on how to proceed. So I kind of said, well, I know I had asked for the poll, the questionnaire on how you want to proceed to be turned in Sunday, but I was sort of anxious to get started with this, so I sort of went based on a couple of the polls that I did receive. I decided to go with assignments mainly, which will actually be similar to the quizzes, except that you'll have all week to work on them, right? Just like you do the quiz, the quiz number 3 now and the quiz number 4. I've changed those from being something you do in the middle of the classroom or our Zoom session to a just a normal assignment, which I think is a lot better. I mean, if I was face to face with you guys and I could walk around, visit with everybody at different desks or break you off into groups to do assignments or to do quizzes, that would be fine. But we're sitting here online. It's difficult to really at least for me, to get my hands around what everybody's doing, virtually in an online setting. It's just awkward. So I think it's better to do quizzes over the course of a week. That way you're not really constricted by time other than the time allotment that I've set for each quiz, which is what is it? An hour and a half, I believe. I set them at. I think I'm giving you guys an hour and a half to do each of the last 2 quizzes for 3 and 4. So I think that's better, than if you guys were kind of forced to do that within a single session that we were having. But hearkening back now to what I'm planning for weeks 6 through 10, I think I indicated that I wanted to do, let's see, I got my notes up on a different screen here. Let's see, and maybe I can even share that. Let's share this. Can everybody see what I'm looking at here?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the document I prepared this morning. So basically, I did want to start from week 1, even though we're well into that. So we got the week 1 and week 2, which are now past. But beginning with week 3, Dr. Ding did have the participation, which I'm granting to everybody pretty much. But now I'm saying quiz 3, okay, well, the 20 questions, I kind of retroactively went back and opened it, so I'm consistent with the next week. But I went back to April 17th, which was Monday.
Real
But
quick, I have a question if you have a sec.
yeah, sure.
Were you able to find out if Dr. Ding, like any information with Dr. Ding?
Yeah, I found out she had a broken leg.
Is
I
that why
shared
she
that
had
with-
to drop the classes or?
Yeah, I guess she was, had some complications from that broken leg. So she's in a lot of pain, and that's a difficult kind of situation to, to have to teach through. I've fortunately never had to do that.
Okay. Yeah, I was kind of thinking it had something to do with that, but I wasn't sure, and that's kind of why I was like, I hope she's okay, because I know that stuff can get crazy. So
Yeah, and if there's anything else involved in that, I'm not privy to it. I'm just a faculty adjunct, so I doubt if anyone's going to, share any more personal information than that. But I would hazard a guess that just having a broken leg is enough to kind of, um, keep you from teaching, or at least teaching effectively. I mean, it's got to be difficult. It's not just only the sessions themselves, and they were classroom sessions with you guys and Dr. Ding originally, so that'd be difficult. But then, grading work and developing weekly plans and study plans and whatever everything else associated with um, with teaching. Um, but yeah, that'd be tough to have a broken leg and try to wade through all that. So yeah, so I shared that with Fabian, who's part of my other course that I'm also teaching, and we met earlier today. I shared the fact that Dr. Ding had a broken leg. But yeah, now you all know, and I don't know if she's around campus or not. Obviously, I'm not, because I'm here in Chicago. But if you do happen to see her, she is on campus. Be you know be sure to say hello and wish her the best and all that. All right. So anyway, here we are with what I developed this morning. So I was on the quizzes, which are essentially going to be 90 minutes, so that's an hour and a half, which I'm thinking for 20 questions should be sufficient. So you'll have 20 minutes each on those. But then when we get past the midterm, which I still have to write, I'm thinking it's going to be like maybe 40 questions or so, maybe. And I'm moving that down from 30% to 20% of our grade. And I'm also changing the what is it, the participation element from, I think it was originally 20% in the syllabus. I'm moving that down to 15% because we have only 3 weeks that the participation was a graded activity. So 3 weeks at 5% each will be 15% of the total grade. So that makes sense, moving it from 20 to that 15. So that gives us an additional 5% of the course to create some assignments that you guys can play with and have some fun with, hopefully. But yeah, if we move down here, we got week 4, everything through week 5 was essentially established already by Dr. Ding. But yeah, I was a little surprised when there wasn't anything after or even including the midterm. I didn't see anything from the midterm, so I'm gonna have to write that. But the midterm will be for the first 4 weeks, which are chapters 1 through 6. And as I mentioned, it'll be 20% of the course grade. And no surprises. Once I get the textbook, I'll be able to answer more specific questions, but I'll also be able to, prepare the midterm exam, the final exam, and these, week 6 through 10 assignments that I want to create. So until I do get those, I looked for the course in the textbook online. The only thing I could find was a table of contents. So at least I know what these chapters are going to be. So that's why I chose the chapters 1 through 15 which I think would be a logical cutoff point. The 15th chapter is foreign exchange markets, which I think is a good way to end the course. But anyway, continuing on. So after the midterm in week 5, we'll jump into the next part of the textbook, which is part 3, which is to discuss why do financial institutions even exist? Why do financial crises occur? And why are they so damaging? This should be all real good information for you folks to study. I'll have an assignment there, which is going to be 5% of the grade, which will be 20 questions, just like the quizzes are, but you'll have all week again to work on them. Week 7, then we'll talk about central banks. The Federal Reserve Bank is our central bank in the US. Maybe we'll also talk about some central banks in some international locations. We'll talk about conducting monetary policy also in week 7. Those are chapters 9 and 10. In week 8, we'll talk about financial markets. So we'll have the money market, the bond market. Then the following week, we'll talk about the stock market and the mortgage markets, which are chapters 13 and 14. And we'll wind up, I did want to include the foreign exchange market. So that's why there's an assignment in week 10, even though we have the final exam then. But it's going to be a shorter assignment. It's only going to be worth 10 questions, made up of 10 questions instead of the 20. So that's pretty much what we're going to do. We're going to then have the final exam, which will be 20%, just like the midterm. And it's not comprehensive. It's just going to be on the second half of the course from week 6 through that week 10 on foreign exchange. So that's basically how I envision laying out the rest of the course. Let's just take a quick look here. There isn't any reading or assignment in week 5, which is the midterm. That first exam, you'll be able to focus your entire week on the midterm exam. Another thing I was thinking about doing was dropping the Wednesday conference call on in weeks 5 and 10, so that you could devote more time to taking your exam, studying for your exam, taking it. The exams themselves are not going to be timed. They're not going to be really part of Moodle in any way, other than the fact that a Word document that's going to have the 40 some odd questions of each of the exams is going to be posted there. So you can download it and, complete it and then send it back to me in the Dropbox that will be established, once I do all that. But yeah. Hey, Justin, what's up? Do you have a question?
Yeah, I was just curious if you were able to unlock our quizzes that we've already taken, so we could see what we missed, what we need to improve on.
Not sure if I can unlock it for you to view.
Okay.
It depends on how it was set up originally.
Okay.
If that option was included. But I'll tell you
Yeah,
what.
she had mentioned that she was going to unlock them so that we could review them, but she wanted to wait for a week so everybody that had taken them, or so that everybody could have taken them, and that needed to, because I guess there were some people traveling or something, I'm not sure, but so she had mentioned that she intended to unlock them, but I just don't know.
Yeah. Okay. As soon as we're done, I'll check on that and see if I have that option. If I do, I'll do it right away and I'll inform you of such. So you can go back and look at your errors before the midterm in week 5. At least we've got a couple of weeks for you to review that. But either way, I'll get to that right away. If I can't unlock them and you can't review what you've done, I will I'll go through them fortunately the class isn't that big, so I can do this kind of thing without a lot of problem. I'll go through them and see what you've missed, or, cut and paste to a Word document and send it to you, send it to individuals via email or whatever, so that you can review and study and see what you may have done wrong. So I'll get you the information one way or the other, Justin, okay?
Okay,
But,
thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet. So let me just make a note to do that, unlock results. And that'll be for all 4 quizzes, not just the ones you've already taken, but this upcoming one. What else do we got here? I was talking about the exams a little bit there, and I'd gotten to the point where I wanted just to highlight one of the comments I made in this little document here, which is when you're doing your, and also when you're doing your assignments, that I create, or the exams, I would strongly suggest that you show your work. Like if I give you like a bond valuation problem or a stock valuation problem or something like that, where you have to work through calculations to come to the result, show your work, okay? Because, if you make some arithmetical error, I'm not going to hammer you with a major deduction for that if you are on the right track with your process, okay? So if you show me the steps you take to reach an answer, but you make an error in arithmetic, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna give you some partial credit on that, okay? But if you just write down the final answer and it's wrong, you're SOL. I can't tell you what you did wrong or what you did right, so I can't give you any credit. So, it always helps just to include a little bit more than maybe you think is necessary. Show your equation, show your work. If it's a short answer problem, make sure you're comprehensive and answer the question. Don't just give me a couple sentences or a couple words. Write a paragraph or two. But I'll be more specific once I get to those assignments or the exams. If I have short answers, I'll say, write 4 or 5 sentences, write a paragraph, write 2 paragraphs. It depends. We'll see what kind of questions and problems I can come up with that are based on the materials in the text for each of these individual chapters. And then once again, the midterm and the final exam will be based on the previous weeks, but the final will not be comprehensive. It'll only be for weeks 6 through 10. Okay, so what else we got here? Yeah, everything's due Sunday at midnight. Even the quizzes 3 and 4 now I've changed to that, so that you can take them anytime during the week. You might want to spend the first part of a week reviewing that material before you get into your hour and a half quiz time. Okay, and as I mentioned, the assignments themselves, you have the full week. All of this stuff is all open book, open note. You can research things on the internet. So, I'm expecting some great scores from everybody for all this kind of stuff. Hopefully anyway. And obviously, for the exams, I mean, don't have your big brother, who's already taken this course sitting with you and answering all the questions for you. Please, do this work yourself. Obviously, there's no way I can monitor that. I don't want to have proctor you on some exam or something. I've got that in other courses. I don't need it here. And I think the way I'm setting this up is, you have the whole week to complete a final exam, it's going to be fairly extensive. I mean, 40 questions, that's, that's no spit in the bucket. That could be quite a bit, but you'll have, the entire week. In the case of the final, you got the entire week 10 to get that done. So, so hopefully that'll be, workable for you and a good way to enhance the learning experience. Um, One of the things I just wanted to mention is that, I hope this idea of adding a whole bunch of, assignments on this week 6 through week 10 and covering the, chapters, was it 7 or 8 through 15 will be good for you. I think it'll enhance your knowledge of the subject. And, there were a lot of different ways to go, as, you could probably, determine for yourself based on the questionnaire I had. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go with discussion boards or, if I wanted to go with assignments. I even considered, you guys doing like a couple of short papers or even a video presentation on some of these topics. But, I decided to go a little bit with more of a conventional approach, which is, some homework assignments, one for each of these 2 chapters that I want to get to. Then, week 10 is just 1 chapter, but just conventional assignments where you'll have, some 20 some odd questions, and you'll be able to devote the entire week to those. And then obviously as we continue on with our Zoom meetings, I'll be, other than weeks 5 and 10 where I'm thinking about, I haven't decided on this yet, but I'm thinking about doing away with the Wednesday meeting. We'll have the normal 2 meetings, in week 6, 7, 8, and 9 to go over this material. I don't think I'm going to have any PowerPoint presentations, which is too bad, because I'm going to be getting a hard copy version of the text, so that kind of precludes any online supplements, unless Dr. Ordonez or someone at SOU can give me access to that stuff. What Renee said was that he was just going to arrange for the bookstore to send me a hard copy textbook. So but that hopefully should be enough. It'll certainly be enough to create all the assignments that I need to, and the 2 exams. But obviously I won't have any electronic supplements that would accompany that. So, in lieu of having PowerPoint files that you guys can look at your leisure during a week, I can review the material, review the text chapters before our meetings, and maybe send you some summaries of key points from the chapters, important elements, and material that I'm likely to base some questions on, for not only the assignment, but then the final exam. So at least for the midterm, we do have all the PowerPoints. So I might be taking some questions from those, maybe from, but probably more so than anything else, they'll be from the material in the chapters, which, oftentimes the textbooks themselves will have some chapter end questions. So if I see good ones, or ones that I think are appropriate, or that can be augmented slightly or changed slightly, and still make sense, I can, I can include those in our, not only the assignments that I create later, but also the exams. But yeah, no discussion boards, nothing fancy, just assignments. But hopefully the assignments that I do create and provide for you will be, good and will enhance your knowledge. And that's the whole idea of what we're trying to do here. But yeah, I was a little shocked. It looked like, Dr. Ding didn't really have the opportunity to you know, finish up the material in the course. So I was a little surprised when I unhid week 6 through 10, and I'm like, oh my God, they're blank. What am I gonna do here? And the problem is that, unlike some of the other courses I'm teaching, I've never taught 470 here. As I mentioned, I've taught a similar course at LSU, but not here at SOU, and certainly not this course, and certainly not this text. So it was a bit of a shocker, but we will get around that as soon as I get the text. We should be in business. But yeah, I'm going to throw it open again for questions. How are you finding the material? Are the PowerPoints clear? Are they well crafted? I've only looked at them briefly. The quizzes 1 and 2, I know Justin wants me to see if I can open them up, but so you can see where your errors are. But it looks like your grades are pretty good on these. I did take a look through the grade book, and I'm pleased with what I see so far. So you guys look like you're doing pretty well. But what do you think? I'm gonna throw it open to you guys. And how's everything going so far here? I see Justin nods, so that's a good sign. Everything good? Got the thumbs up. Fabian, how's your experience in this course? Okay.
It's pretty good so far. I have no concerns.
Okay.
I think what you said was pretty straightforward, and I think we can easily adapt to week 5 and week 10 if we drop the class, or if we don't drop the class. It's already in our schedule. It would just free up time in the end. Yeah, and other than that, I feel pretty confident about it.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. How are you, Karen? Everything good with you?
Yes, everything has been fine in my experience.
Okay. How you doing, Lisa? How are you feeling? Hanging in there?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there. I found that the PowerPoints along with the chapter are pretty good. So it's all good here.
Good.
And I like the new, what's that?
I'm glad to hear it.
I like the new layout. So that sounds like it's going to be good.
Good.
Yeah.
You were one of the people that did vote and got your answers back to me. So I did take a lead from you and a couple of the others that did say they'd probably prefer assignments as opposed to discussion boards or anything else that I had thrown out there as a possibility. So that's good. How's everything with you, Tyler? Everything good?
Yeah, doing fine. I'm pretty used to, online class formats and doing things kind of independently. So I'm pretty used to this format already.
Yeah, good. You were doing tremendously well in the other courses I've been fortunate to have with you, and you've always been a rock star. So I'm hoping that continues here. It
Hey,
doesn't
thanks.
surprise me. Doesn't surprise me to when you say that you're pretty used to the format, because obviously we have worked together quite a few times. I've also worked with Marv on one other occasion. How are things with you, Marv? Everything good?
Yeah, they're well. I'm just enjoying having a straightforward class. Like I'm in 499, so right now, so a lot of my attention's going to my capstone. So just having another class where I can just work independently and do things on a regular schedule is going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it will be, and hopefully this format that I have devised, with these assignments for week 6 through 10 will, be conducive to you and everyone else. Actually, now that I think about it, but if you're taking the capstone, you obviously got some pretty heavy time commitments associated with that course. But hopefully this will augment your knowledge and be a good course for you to take along the way. How's everything with you, Nina? Everything good?
Yeah, going well so far. It's a little different compared to the other class, but that's good just to switch it up.
Yeah, it is
So
a little
yeah.
different. Yeah, it is a little different than 471, right?
Yeah, but
Well,
not in a
that's
bad way.
yeah, good. This will be a little bit different in that you in 471 we just got the cases, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
Oh, by
yeah.
the way, did you happen to see the message I sent about?
Yeah, I did. Mhm.
Yeah, good. Okay, good. That was just a typographical error in the spreadsheet that somebody let slip through the cracks. I could I'm happy I could kind of wash my hands of any of these problems associated with course setups. I didn't do any of them. I'm just rapidly trying to fix them all. But anyway, yeah, that was just a typo. So it was quite clear once I went into it. I looked down and I saw, oh, the balance sheet, they've labeled it as income statement and Schedule 1 again. Well, that doesn't quite make sense. So I made that fix. But anyway, that's something entirely different and not really relevant to the rest of you. How's everything going with you, Dylan? Good to see you again after
Yeah.
earlier today as well.
Yeah, it's going good. Just went to the chiropractor, feeling good. Now just
Chiropractor. What is that? What did you get jazzed up wrestling or something?
yeah, just getting pop my back all up and stuff, but I feel good right now. So yeah.
What kind of weight class you in wrestling?
157.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I remember all the wrestlers back in my high school days. I didn't really know too many in my college days, but in high school days, the wrestlers were all starving themselves trying to get down in weight.
Yeah.
They didn't realize that starving yourself probably wasn't the best thing to do. But anyway,
We used to see him in basketball practice. We'd see him running around the outside of the basketball courts wearing black plastic bags.
okay. Yeah, I was always at some ice rink removed from campus during the winter sports season because I was a hockey guy. So I got the lack of teeth to prove it. But yeah, I didn't get to associate with too many wrestlers other than my buddies. But my son was a wrestler. My son was a football player and a wrestler. So he shared with me a lot of the faux pas of trying to drop down in weight and not realizing that impacted your endurance and your strength a lot. But yeah, the whole idea was, yeah, if you could get down into a lower weight class, maybe you could do better, but that's not always the case. But anyway, I hope you're all enjoying the course. I appreciate all of you kind of getting together with me here in this first week that I've been conducting the sessions. We'll get into some more specifics on the course, beginning on Monday. And like I said, I'll try to prepare a little agenda for the meeting and get it out to you all before we do meet on Monday, and then turn one around based on any questions or issues that we encounter on Tuesday, so that you'll have that for our Wednesday meeting, and that's how we'll kind of carry on from this point forward. As I mentioned, I don't think I'm going to have any PowerPoint resources for this course for weeks 6 through 10. So like I said, I'll try to develop some kind of study guides or chapter summaries that I think make some sense. Get those out to you earlier, and you can either ask questions on those during our meetings, or if you want to review them before our meetings and you want to get a jump on that, you can always send me any questions on those before we meet. But yeah, I would anticipate our sessions getting much more meatier, much more detailed, much more comprehensive, and certainly longer than these first two sessions that we've had here in week 1. And that also goes for the other course, Nina, by the way, and the same with you, Dylan. You're both in, my 471 course, and I anticipate, getting into much more detail there, working through either discussion questions or the case studies as we go forward there too. So not to think I'm punting on my responsibilities, but the major, just to summarize real quickly, the major follow-up point that I have here is to unlock the results from the quizzes and see if I can get you the information on this. So I will do that. And does anybody have anything else that they'd like to add, or any questions or anything you'd like to see me cover or do a little bit more?
So with this week's quiz, can we take it at any time, or was there a set time? I'm sorry, I missed when you said that.
Oh, yeah. No, Dylan, I've set it up. I reorganized it. You'll still only have 180 minutes, an hour and a half. Right? Or wait, what is that? 60, that's 3 hours, right? 180 minutes is
180 minutes would be 3 hours, yeah.
Yeah, 60 times
90
3.
minutes is what you put in your email.
Yeah, that's yeah, okay. Either way, I'll verify that. If it's not correct, I'll change it to 3 hours. Either way, I don't want you to get cut off. But yeah, you can take that anytime during the week. So it will be due. The week 3 is this week, so that'll be due this coming Sunday. And then week 4's quiz will be due the following, and they open on Monday at the crack of dawn, and we'll carry all the way through to Sunday night. Okay, sound good? Anything else? Any other questions? Any other comments? Everything good? Okay, then on that note, I'm going to turn you all loose. I will follow up and get back with you on the unlocking the quiz results for chapters 1 and 2, and then how I'll do that going forward, beginning this week in chapter 3. And you won't have to worry about that as far as the assignments go, carrying on from week 6 onward, because I'll be grading those and supplying you feedback on all your answers and things like that anyway. So we'll get into some great detail, and we'll get this into a little bit more comprehensive for you as we go forward. So I'm going to turn you all loose. Have a great rest of the week. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday.
Thank you. You too. I'll see you
Thank you.
Monday.
Okay, thanks so much,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye, thank you.
I'll post a recording of this too, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.